Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host Cody Potter. How y'all doing? So today, man, I'm going to just talk a little bit about where I'm at with the Commanders. Just looking ahead for this team. I kind of always live around this. My philosophy really doesn't change. Team building aspect and everything. Biggest thing for me is I did not really anticipate this team picking in the area that we're going to be picking. It's a very good chance that we could be picking inside the top five if we do not win another football game this year. Depending on how they handle the Jaden Daniels situation, end of the month, there's a lot that could change, man. So the topic of this is get a star player, man. It's crazy to me, man. Like we always want to trade back. Like, I get it. It's always nice to have a million picks and, like, have all this interesting stuff, man. But, like, Caleb Downs. And it's not even just Caleb Downs. It's just the one that I'm showing you right yet. When is the last time this team has had a star? Like, a real star that's lasted for more than just one season. RG3, 1 year. Kirk Cousins, you had, like, some, fringe top-tier level play as far as the production, the numbers and things like that. We've never just had that star wide receiver. Like, we haven't had the Randy Moss. I mean, like, you can go back to, like, Art Monk and Gary Clark and things like that. That was a posse together. That's what happens when you collectively accrue great players. When you have a great player and then you add good players around them, like having a Terry McLaurin, adding a, Mekhi Lemon, a Jordan Tyson, the Cardinal Tates of the world, like adding that player to that only makes you better. We have a lot of holes. We really do have a lot of holes. So, like, for me talking about picking a safety, I mean, realistically, the safety, it does help the back end. It doesn't completely supplement and fix everything on the back end because you also got to factor in the pass rush and things like that. If you have no pass rush, it's really hard to get home. It's really hard, players can't cover forever. So, I mean, yes, Caleb Downs is not going to help us get after the passer, and that is the biggest weakness on this team right now. But he is going to be ultimately the best player in the draft, whether it's regardless of position. I mean, he's just grading out as the best player in the draft. He's my number 2 player in all of college football. It's really hard to pass on that. But the safety position, you think about the critical, the positional value and things like that. But when you have this type of player, I mean, dude, like, he's not Sean Taylor. We're not gonna call him Sean Taylor. But, like, dude, this dude is just smart. He flies to the football. He has a very good football IQ. He's willing to hit. He's willing to tackle. He's good in the run. He's good in the back. He's good in the box. Like, this is just A+ premier player, and that is going to be the consensus, like, direction of this show. That's what I always talk about. We talk blue chip prospects. This is a true dynamic blue player. He is not a player that comes out every year. And yes, you can think the Chase Youngs of the world, and we missed on certain, like, dude, injuries happen. It is not always about injury. This player translates. He fits to the scheme. He would make this scheme even better. He is a transcendent football player. When you watch him on tape, you see him flying around, you see the effort. This isn't like the Chase Young is beating up on the Northwesterns and not playing really good in the Michigan games and things like that. Like, there were questions with Chase Young, with his motor, things like that. This dude checks out. He checks every box for me, man. Like, Caleb Downs is a true stud. The name of the game is to get studs on this team. We need absolute studs on this team. Like, there's no way we can continue to build this roster and not get studs. Yes, having multiple picks would be a great thing. And just showing you right now, like, Caleb Downs is not the only option. Like, Rueben Bain Jr., if you had told me at the beginning of the year that we were going to be in this range and that we actually might have a chance at this player, man, I just thank you, Lord, because honestly, this is the position that we need the most. And are the grades close? Yes, they are. Do I have the same grade on Rueben Bain as an edge overall as I have on Caleb Downs? No, I don't. I don't think Rueben Bain Jr. is the best edge rusher I've ever scouted. Caleb Downs is starting to get to that range with safeties, man. And I've scouted Sean Taylor, like I've scouted, the Kyle Hamiltons of the world, the Eric Berrys, the Earl Thomases, like all these guys. I mean, like other safeties that I've even liked, like, Amari Watts, and just like there's a ton of safeties in the NFL that have been really, really good. You scout them. Caleb Downs gets you there, but Rueben Bain Jr. as an edge is grading phenomenally, man. Like, this is an explosive dude, really good bend, relentless motor. I mean, you can drop him into coverage. You can just do a lot of things with Rueben Bain Jr., man, and those are the type of things that you're looking for on and off the field is what Rueben Bain Jr. gives you. So at the end of the day, you want to pick the best player. Like, that realistically is what it is. Get the best player on your roster. Get everything that you need from that player. Just all the skill sets, all the things really stack up and really add to, what makes Rueben Bain Jr. a really good player. Like, just the relentless motor, just everything that you want. So my biggest thing is adding that type of player to this roster. I mean, there's a lot of directions that this team can go in this offseason. There's a lot of players that you're going to love. You see them on tape; they're really, really good on tape. Rueben Bain Jr., if he's the card that we turn in, I can completely live with it. I would not trade back if Rueben Bain Jr. was on the board. Would I pick Rueben Bain Jr. over Caleb Downs? Me personally, I'd have a really hard time making that pick. I think I would turn in the Caleb Downs part. I mean, I stick by a philosophy. You pick the best player at the position available. The edge class is much deeper in this draft. I mean, you got Cassius Howe, you got Kendrick Falk. You have a lot of guys that I really, really, really like. There's one Caleb Downs, and honestly, you don't get him in any other type of class. Like, you get him once every 5 years type player. That's the type of grade that I have for Caleb Downs. That's the type of position I would be willing to go for him. I would draft that guy in the top 5. I think he's that good. Then this guy right here, man. I'm going to highlight this player. We're going to talk about the other wide receivers as well. But my biggest thing with this wide receiver is I think a lot of it really, really fits a lot of the things that this team wants to do. He is an above, prospect route running guy. Like, he has amazing polish, the way that he runs his routes, like the way that he uses his speed in and out of routes. He's not just out there running full speed and then running routes. Like, this guy sets you up. He's very, very smart, and every snap from him looks the same. And this is something that I really, really key on, and I prioritize it when I'm looking at wide receivers. I've like the premier route running in wide receivers. So Jordan Tyson is a guy that I have graded really, really high. Hands a little bit like I don't like guys that drop passes, man. Like, the dude is amazing. He will catch every highlight pass. He gets everything that you want before and after the catch, man. Like, he gives you all that. He can catch through contact. He's a very, very good player. I think he has the most speed of the top guys. I think Cardinal Tate's very fast. I think he's going to test very well too. And then Makai Lemon, I loved him as well. Very physical. He reminds me so much of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm not just saying that because he went to USC. It's the physical nature that he plays with. Like, he really reminds me of Anquan Bolton. Like, he just has that Anquan Bolton, like, dog mentality. I mean, Makai Lemon's a stud, but I think Jordan Tyson is a guy that just fits schematically what you want as a route winner. You add this type of guy with Terry McLaurin, I think he gives you over-the-top ability. He's a very, very good player. I think the only guy that I've seen so far handle Jordan Tyson is a guy that I'm really, really high on in Kelly Jones from Mississippi State. He's gotten, I think, the best of Jordan Tyson that I've seen when Jordan Tyson is healthy. Jordan Tyson's a really, really good player. Would I pick him over Caleb Downs? No. Would I pick him over Rueben Bain Jr.? No. That's just the way that this edge class is grading out for me. I think in this class, there is a position that you really, really can be looking at picking some really, really good wide receiver players, man. Like, that's why later in the draft, maybe you don't go Jordan Tyson. Maybe that's also why you don't go Rueben Bain Jr. You take the Caleb Downs because that's the best player on the board. We can talk about Jeremiah Love, a running back, another devalued position, but another guy that is grading head and shoulders above everybody that he's going to be taken around because of his explosive ability, because his contact balance, because of his vision, because of his speed, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and because he's one of the best athletes that you're ever going to find on a football field. Jeremiah Love is going to test out of the gym, man. This dude is in the mold of the Bijan Robinson. He's not Bijan Robinson. They have two completely different styles, completely different gears. And I think that Bijan Robinson gives you a little bit more physicality inside the tackles, but what Jeremiah Love offers you schematically, man, dude, like, you add that type of player with Jayden Daniels. Like, the theme of this show is get a star. The reason it is get a star because, honestly, we have Jayden Daniels. The kid can play. Do you need it on offense? Do you need it on defense? Or do you just simply go the best player available? There's so many directions that you can take when you're thinking about building this roster overall. But to me, one of these players, I mean, you do not win the Super Bowl without stars. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Chiefs when they were winning their Super Bowls. Look at any team when they were winning their Super Bowls. It doesn't really matter where the stars are, as long as you have a certain level of quarterback play, which I think we can sustain in the NFL, as long as we keep Jaden Daniels healthy, continue to, focus on making the offensive line a priority, which we did not do under Ron Rivera, which this regime has shown you clearly the offensive line is going to be a precedent for this football team. We're going to be physical in the trenches. That's why we're also discussing Rueben Bain Jr. and the fact that maybe you do take Rueben Bain Jr. because of the positional importance, because of the need, and because the grades are not so far apart that you can't justify making the pick. Like, I mean, if you were giving Caleb Downs like a 9.7 and you were giving Rueben Bain Jr. like a 9.2, at the end of the day, that's not far enough of a leap that the positional value honestly bumps Rueben Bain Jr. up. That's why a lot of teams will make the edge pick, whether it's Arvell Reese, whether it's Rueben Bain Jr., whether it's Akeem Mazador, whether it's Kendrick Falk. I mean, Cassius Howe is going to, Cassius Howe has a very good chance of going in the top 15. He's a little bit older player, just like Akeem Mazador. I think he goes before Akeem personally just because of the burst and things like that he demonstrates on the football field. But the biggest thing for me is ultimately, kind of messing up the video right now, but video ran out. I was just going on it, but at the end of the day, man, like, it's pick your poison, get a star. This team has for years under Dan Snyder, we have not had stars. For everything that we love Terry McLaurin to be, everything that Terry McLaurin has given us, everything that Terry McLaurin is and is not, he is not Justin Jefferson. We love him. And Justin Jefferson was not Justin Jefferson in college. I mean, I loved his tape. I mean, I really, really find him eerily similar as far as the route running ability to Jordan Tyson. I think the nuance is a little bit different. I'm not calling Jordan Tyson Justin Jefferson, but in college, the way that they work the routes, the way that they stem them, the way that they make their cuts, and the way that the speed that they carry through their cuts, it's eerily similar. Am I saying Jordan Tyson is going to be Justin Jefferson? Well, trust me, if he was, he'd be my pick. Like, it's that simple. If you see that on tape, if you see that guy and you think he is that guy mentally, when you get him into interviews and the interview process come February at the Combine and things like that, and his testing numbers show that what you're seeing on tape is very, very eerily similar to the numbers that he puts up, there's a good medical history, then make the pick. Because honestly, if that's what you translate this guy to be, if you see him and see him as a future Justin Jefferson type, then you make the pick. It's that simple. This is where scouting is so important. It's these scouts for the Commanders, they're going around to every college football game. They're watching football games live. They're meeting the players. They're talking to coaches. They're talking to other players. Trust me, they know. They have notes. I have binders. They have boats. They have tons of notes on file. They're doing their due diligence. If you told me that we traded back, if we picked in the top five, and you're staring at Arvell Reese is probably gone, two of the quarterbacks at least are probably gone between Mendoza and the Oregon kid, Dante Moore, that I really, really like. Okay, so you basically took Arvell Reese or Rueben Bain Jr., depending on that. You're not picking for need with the number one overall team right now. That's why we're translating this. They took a quarterback last year. That's how I'm going off of this. So Arvell Reese is probably your top pick. You're not picking Jeremiah Love number one. For as good as he is, you're just not picking a running back overall, number one overall. Caleb Downs, almost basically the same thing. Could they? I think he's good enough to do it, but it's the NFL, man. You have these edges grading out as good as they are. Arvell Reese for Ohio State is probably the third best player on Ohio State. They're the best team in the nation. They're probably on their way to a national title appearance, at the very least. It might pain my best friend for me to say that as a Michigan fan, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is. Trust me, I'm a Miami fan. I don't want to see that shit either. But at the end of the day, it's looking more and more likely that Arvell Reese is probably going to be the top pick, depending on, how the season pans out and how it finishes. So as we're looking forward from this, the biggest thing is, as I said, get the star on this roster. it would be nice, yes. If we were in the top 5, we move back to pick 15. You add a second, you add maybe a future one. Yes, if these type of things are on the table because some team wants a quarterback and the quarterbacks are grading out third quarterbacks on the board when you're picking, and some team wants them and they're willing to give you that type of haul, dude, I'm not turning that away. I'm just telling you that for me, if I'm trading down in this draft, I'm sticking in a range. If I'm going from 5, I'm willing to maybe go to 8. If I can go from 5 to 8 and still get one of these top players and probably still have that same shot at Caleb Downs, I'm willing to hear that out. But you're going to know more about that by the time we get to April and things like that, where further things that we're hearing reported with what these teams like, what they're looking for, how the combine goes, how the medicals go, how all these teams, how all these guys interview with all the teams. A lot's going to go into this. The biggest thing for this team, get a star. Get a star, whether it's for Jaden Daniels, which is something that I really, really support. Am I going to pick any of these wide receivers over Caleb Downs? Dude, it'd be really hard. I'd have to, you just have to know. You'd have to know that receiver is that guy. None of these guys are Jeremiah Smith, but they are all really good in their own thing. So do they fit to the scheme? Do they have talents that make it translate past the fit of the scheme? Then you can start to justify it. But, dude, if you make that pick, that player has to put it on tape. And this is a really important offseason for Adam Peters in this group, man. You need this sure thing type of player. So, really, it's not even just about taking the risk. If you're going to make the risk for picking a wide receiver for Jaden Daniels, trust me, I can understand the justification for it. I think Cardinal Tate's tape is there. I think he's top 10. I think Makai Lemon is right there. Honestly, they're just different skill sets, man. It's pick your poison. So realistically, you're not picking. The thing about it is how I grade this wide receiver class and how they grade this wide receiver class and how you're going to grade this wide receiver class is going to be completely different for every person's eye. What do you like? And then do you even factor in what works on your team and what that coaching staff has had success with working with before, and do their skill sets match that, or are they even greater than what they've had before? That's what you got to look for. So for me, realistically, I prefer a dog with wide receiver, man. Makai Lemon is that dude. I really do like him, and I'm not a USC guy. I kind of not. Sometimes you helmet scout, and it's very easy to do. You see certain players come out of a school and things like that. It's very easy to just look at the helmet and say, oh, well, they're going to be that. Well, at the end of the day, if that was the case, then nobody's going to pick Jordan Tyson because ASU doesn't have a storied history of turning out wide receivers like USC does, or Ohio State. Ohio State, if you're helmet scouting, Cardinal Tate's your top 10 pick. Realistically, it would just be that easy because you see what these guys are doing in the league, from Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, and just all the guys, whether it's Chris Olave, Emeka Ibuka, we all know what he's doing, JSN, and the ridiculous run he's having. Honestly, if you're helmet scouting, you're basically saying, well, Cardinal Tate, Ohio State, it's very easy, pick him. He's got better size than half of the guys that we're talking about there outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. But again, you got to do more than helmet scout. You got to understand why he missed this last game. Against when Ohio State was playing against the team that they just friggin' played. They just smashed the shit out of them. Northwestern, I think. And then again, so Makai Lemon has the physical skill set, doesn't have the elite burst. So, sometimes some of these things are going to factor into how you're grading these players. But then again, at the end of the day, Malik Neighbors' testing numbers were very, very critical because you didn't really see is he 4.4? He looks explosive. You can tell he's dynamic. He gets separation. He does all these things. He's a dog. His hands are there. That's Makai Lemon all day. But is he that guy? So the testing numbers are going to be a little bit more, important for a guy like Makai Lemon. Can he separate down the field? Does he separate down the field? He does it on tape. He just doesn't look fast on tape. But nobody runs him down. So at the end of the day, that's the other part that you have to look at it too, man. How do the guys look on the field against who are they playing? And then if they're playing a higher level opponent, they're separating from that player. Well, then the speed's legit. And that's why scouting these guys in big games is so critical. The matchups really matter. Makai Lemon against a cornerback that I really, really like. You're watching that game. You got to watch the game. That's how you improve yourself as a scout. So again, man, this is just a fun little episode for me that I wanted to do. I really, really do enjoy talking college football, man. I really enjoy scouting college football. I really, really love grading these players, getting to know them from the time they're in high school. I watch them in high school. I watch high school ball, and then you watch them in college and things like that. It's really cool to watch these players grow. A lot of these players I mentioned before the season was even started, as being guys that you just know, man. Like, you can just see the trait. You see them develop year in and year out in college. They're dynamic players, explosive ability, man. Each year they've stacked some kind of improvement on their game. These are the type of guys that you're willing to draft in the top 5 because they're clearly putting that work in behind the scenes, much less they're going to school and doing other things like that. Student athlete, when they're in the NFL is their job, that they're going to focus and excel on it. Now, can you put them in a locker room in a situation that fits? Do they fit your scheme? Do not pick a player that doesn't fit your scheme. You just can't do it, and you can't afford it. And you also can't afford to miss on a player because they have hype. That's the biggest thing. When questions are available on tape in a player's game, like, hey, man, why weren't you hustling on this thing? Depending on how them players answer it, man, that's why you see falls in the draft. And sometimes that's why you see one of the best players that's being graded consensusly in the media falls through the second round because they're not giving full effort all the time, no matter how good they look on tape and all the highlights and all the things, all the pub that they had coming in. Things will pan out, and we'll have a much closer look, a much better feel for how this looks coming into April, coming into February, man. My board will be set by the time the Senior Bowl is over, man. I'm always set by then. I'm always looking forward to that time of year. January is playoff football for NFL, so I'm always digging into that, looking at free agents, looking at hot coaches, trying to figure out the landscape of the NFL, trying to figure out maybe if this player is going to let this type of player go in free agency and things like that, and we're going to get there. This was a little bit earlier in the year than I thought we were going to start having these discussions as a Commanders fan, but like I said, this was just a fun episode I wanted to do. This is what I'm really passionate about. This is what I really love talking about. So again, man, thank you guys for checking us out. Have any questions, like, comment, subscribe. I'll answer anything. If you want to name prospects, your team, college, things like that, we can talk ball anytime you want on here. Like I said, I just appreciate you guys listening, man. So again, thank you for checking out the Blue Chip Podcast. Have a blessed day. Peace.